Welcome to Zeta Protocol, the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast that charts stranger waters than a Sith navigator with a broken GPS and stirs up more noise than a Rogue One recruitment rally in a cantina with free appetizers. I'm Egnards, joined by PICO, Quartermaster of Questions Burrito, and tonight we witness a turning tide. Hondo's hoisted the crown of Pirate King only to watch his crew scatter faster than Jawas at a garage sale. In the deep, the Leviathan sharpens its fangs for a coming strike, and the Profundity's rolling out a brand new wingmate. So set your scanners wide, secure your loadouts, and remember, in this game, every ending is just another ambush on the horizon. All right, Mr. Pico Burrito, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing wonderful. I am recovering from an exciting weekend. I saw 30 or 40 bands Thursday to Saturday.
Okay.
The highlight, again, this is going to sound weird. The highlight was Pat Benatar
Okay.
on Thursday night. She was absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, doing well. And excited about our friends. The Pirate King Hondo Onaka, which, all right, real quick, we got to come to an agreement.
Okay.
What's the abbreviation we're going to use for him?
What is it? PK Hondo Onaka. What does that look like? PKHO.
Say it. Say it. Say it phonetically.
PICO?
Yes, there it is. There it is.
How I'm like PK Ho? Like that's rude. How long has this been in your head? Have you been saving this for months?
It hasn't actually. It was on our Discord today. I posted that he was available and I was working on it. I made a comment and Bodhi immediately responded back with it. And there's a long running joke behind it, but my Discord name on our server for a while has been Pico John Cena Burrito.
Because you're never
would
seen.
take way too long to explain. Yeah, exactly, which was way too long to describe. But Bodhi chimed in immediately as like, you should change your name to Pico PKHO Burrito, and immediately saw it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's done. Like that's there. So yeah, we could even call it GL Pico. I mean, we could do that if we wanted to.
That's fine. I'm going to do that on Discord, and anyone who hasn't listened to this or doesn't listen to this, they're going to be so confused. Why do you call it Pico? I like Mexican food. I don't know what to tell you, you know? I do have to say, going into this episode, you cursed us the night before, right? Because the night before you were like, there is going to be these huge info dumps. And in my head, I was like, no, we'll get GL Hondo, we'll get an update, like we'll get some like basic information about the era, we're gonna be fine. And then it just wall of text after wall of text after wall of text. We have a lot.
We do. And some of it seems we got some announcements a little bit earlier. Like I think this seems like a very early Conquest character announcement.
They've been doing that more recently.
Yeah. I was happy to see that we did not get some variation of State of the Galaxy, and I know most people like, why you're saying that, but bite-sized chunks, draw it out. Like it's how you get through all of it in one night becomes a little bit rough. So I mean, look, it's purely selfish. It's purely selfish.
Yeah. I will say, and I know we're going to talk about this later when we talk about the era, but if you remember last episode, and that was a while, that was 10 days ago or more, you had asked about era predictions, right? And you gave me homework, and I did it very, very quickly. And we both gave what we wanted and what we expected, right? And if I remember correctly, what you wanted was a ship era.
Yes.
And what I wanted was a lifter era.
I think we got it.
I mean, it was like combined, right? Like,
yeah.
We got a little of column A, a little of column B, so we're good.
Yeah, it's almost like we knew it was coming. We did not, for the record, we did not, but it was almost like we knew it was coming.
There's already
Um,
enough people that think I'm on CG's payroll, so this is not good for us.
yeah,
But I'm gonna take it. It's a win in
yeah,
my book.
and the era cadence is going to be again. We'll hit the era stuff as well. The era cadence is a little different, which I still don't understand.
I guess, do
Uh,
you want to just go into the era stuff
yeah,
first?
yeah.
Because we're already
Let's hit
talking
that.
about it.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so
So
go
yeah, go
ahead.
ahead.
All right, fine. Rocks,
Well,
paper, scissors. Go for it. You do it.
all right. So the era was announced, and what's funny is as we're saying this, I'm having to pull up what the actual name the era of Deadly Pursuits came in, and so I think the first thing, and I didn't see this on any of the discords, but
Mhm.
this looks to be only a 2 month era,
Yes,
if I'm reading this correctly. Era one will be two ships. So it'll be the ship Rogue One. Bodhi Rook is finally going to be a pilot, as well as we're getting Pow will be a pilot with
we'll
him
be
as
the other
well.
pilot.
With that,
Mhm.
and then we'll get the Rebel B Wing, which they said nothing about a character for that ship. So my assumption is it's a pilotless ship, which again, really interesting to see how that shakes out through all of this. Uh, and then two bounty hunters I have waited for forever, and that's
Yeah.
Forlom and Zuckus, which I'm really interested to see what they do with those two.
I think that's
So
there's
yeah,
some of the most requested characters,
yes,
other than like Flight Suit Luke with Red 5, right? Like
yep,
these I've been hearing years and years and years and years. So people have been pumped for these guys.
yeah. Now, what's interesting about those two is we now have like the full bridge, from Empire Strikes Back,
Hmm.
but there are more bounty hunters than you can put on it. Like you can't play them all together. Like someone has to sit. So how is that going to sit? Because it's what it's Bosk, it's Dengar, it's IG-88, it's Boba Fett. I guess that's six, and then you got Forlom and Zuckus, so that would be six across the board there. So who knows where they're going to land?
Do you think that they're
Uh,
gonna do like an Empire, like the thematic team is they're gonna want to have like that Empire team of bounty hunters working together?
I, I don't know because if you have that Empire team of bounty hunters together, you you then shelve Grief and Fennec. So look at a certain point, there's too many characters in the game that give me another team of five means I got to retire somebody else. So maybe they just do sunset along that.
Yeah.
Um, my what I would love to see happen is this is like a weird two-man team that just does really really well with
Okay.
just the two of them.
And I enjoy
Uh,
those teams.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think it's hard to have teams that are thematically offense or defense. And in the past, we've seen like Malgus, right, with his Omicrons originally. He was very clearly designed for defense, and that's changed in the
yeah,
last 2 to 3 years. Um, and then we have like Wampa, which obviously is a thematically offensive team. You can't put him with anyone else. C Bane is a thematically offense
yeah,
team because they have to be two. I have fun when they have fun with a team that's only offense because
yeah,
kind of like with player versus environment PvE content, you can make it a little bit overpowered because you don't really have to worry about people putting it on defense, right?
yeah.
And it can only take out one team. So you get to have some fun with that design space.
Yeah, I agree. I think that one, it gives you some flexibility because in 3v3 it just becomes an interesting team because you can undersize things. I think it also brings a little bit more strategy back in the GAC, is that how
Hmm.
can you maximize, look, two or three banners in a lot of cases kind of matter in those scenarios. The other kind of theory that people have been throwing around, and I'm not sure I see it. I get why, but there are people talking about it going onto the Afra squad,
Okay.
which again, you have to sunset some of them, but I don't see where Forlom gets a droid tag because
Yeah.
there's nothing about the guy that's a droid. Um, so I don't know if it fits there. Uh, it will be interesting to see how they play them into the overall mix.
Now, outside
Uh,
of Empire, I don't go into the EU as often. I don't go into the whatever they're calling the EU that is now as much. Could
yeah,
you see either of these two being a tank thematically? You know, they can do whatever they want, but like just from the idea of, oh, this it makes sense.
yeah. So, oh man, I'm dating myself. So I read the Kevin J. Anderson Tales of the Bounty Hunter book when I was in college, so 96, 95, 96, a long time ago. Um,
I was 10, but okay.
yeah, yeah. The uh, Zuckuss is Zuckuss is a force sensitive Gand, which he's kind of like he's a bloodhound. So like if you're a bounty hunter, like being able to see people out and find people is that way. I If I remember correctly, I think Forlom was kind of the muscle
Okay.
a little bit. So if you think about muscle can is typically muscle characters they turn into tanks, so I could see that happening. But again, I think CG very much finds, hey, the character is going to fit the role that I need them to play and where that sits.
I guess what I'm
Um,
just thinking is with the Dr. Afra, you know, we have seen
yeah,
kits, and we have one tonight, right? That was retroactively changed. So with Afra, they could say, you know, if Forlom and Zuckuss are on the
yeah.
team, then blah blah blah. Um, but we don't know. We only have a couple of instances where that has happened in the past.
So I'm going to float an idea out as I'm looking at the list of bounty hunters, and this becomes really interesting to me. What if they're a Scion of Django lifter?
So
Because technically, there's a tie there between them, just separated by time and space. He spent all that time in the pit, but what if maybe that's how they're gonna try and do something with Scion and of Django is just they work really really well under him.
who's just been sitting on the bench,
Yeah.
which would be nice because right now he doesn't really do anything out of territory
No.
wars. So outside of the
Nope.
gauntlet, very few people do invest in him. He has like that weird, I mean, it's not weird thematically from the show, but like that Tuscan synergy. So
Yeah.
giving him some characters that specifically go there, I could see it. And it would
Yeah.
be great because it gives life to somebody that I think I only have relicked because uh, members on Discord voted for it. And I said, all right, fine. I guess I'll do it.
Yeah. I keep trying to talk myself into taking him to R9 and for territory battles with Balin, and I can't even stomach that idea. So yeah, it will be interesting to where they sit now on the ships. I think the plan is Rogue One's going to go with Profundity to give it a little bit of a bump,
Hmm.
and then B Wing is going to go to Home One. Or I think did they say anything where B Wing was going to go?
So they didn't say where the bomber is going, but I was talking to a few
Sorry.
people this morning about it with Rogue One. The interesting thing in Rogue One's kit, and we will say this right here, we're not reading the kit. It's not
Yeah,
important. What the kit represents is more important than the kit itself.
yeah.
But in the kit, there's the unique that reduces call reinforcement. And that is something that one of the Phoenix ships has. I think it's Ghost 2 has it,
Goes to yep,
right?
yeah,
So my theory was that they're trying to remake that Home One fleet to either give the bomber to Home One or to give both of these ships to Profundity and give the Phoenix ships back to Home One. Something's going to happen there where they are trying to make Home One maybe not a top fleet, but a usable fleet again.
Well, and I think look the you can't talk about ships, especially can't talk about rebel ships without bringing up Red Five into the
Yeah.
conversation. And does this start to maybe lay the groundwork for a Red Five ship in the coming year? Like is that the plan
Later
to
on.
to shake everything up? And we're kind of aligning some of the until we get there.
Yeah.
Um, So yeah, who knows? I, I and there is so there is going to be an era battle, and it's called analysis paralysis, which my assumption is that it's tied to the. We probably don't get one for the first month. Is my guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure because the pirates were different, right, than the other
Yes.
two, so we don't really know what to expect. And I don't actually know if it's confirmed if analysis paralysis is the name of the era battle or well, I guess there's no plural here, so maybe that is just one thing because I'm thinking two of them are ships and two of them are characters.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. Yep.
So I don't
Uh,
know what they're going to do there, but it's not plural in the era battle. So I guess thematic, we do have to assume it's a single era battle either way.
yeah. Now, from a timeline perspective, and I meant to look at this yesterday and I didn't. Um, so we get this the week of this era starts the week of the 22nd.
Hmm.
One, two, three, four. So that means then the second month starts the week of the 13th. Do I have that correct? Two. Yep.
That
So
sounds
the
right.
next
Yeah.
the next era starts the week of October 13th, which means that runs until November 3rd, which leaves us 2 full months to get to the end of the year.
Yeah.
Do you? Yeah, because the way it should have worked is we should have gotten 3 months together and a month by itself.
Hmm.
Do you think there's a chance? Like, what are the odds that between now and the end of the calendar year, we're only getting two new characters?
That would
Two new
be
characters. Ships are off to the side because different resources.
that would be a godsend. I
Yeah.
think to a lot of players, there have been a lot of players who have kind of said that they do feel like the cadence has really hit very hard.
Yeah.
And that's nice if you're willing to spend the money constantly, but it can be very difficult when you're seeing 20 some odd characters. And that started really last year in 2024, but it wasn't eras, right? But we still had
Yeah.
constant, consistent character releases over the course of these 2 years. So if we get 2 months without anything major, and I understand where you're going with this, and the stipulation is that the ships, yes, are characters, but they don't need to be geared. It's easier, right? So we have two ships, lets us relax. Two characters lets
Yeah.
us relax a little bit, and then 2 months where maybe we're not seeing anything, and maybe even 2.5 months because it usually goes into mid-January.
Yeah.
I think a lot of players would feel some relief to be able to work on, things that they want to a little bit. And,
Yeah.
and that has kind of been the stress right now of always feeling like you have to work on what the new thing is. I have a feeling that they are going to give us a one episode era after this,
Yeah. I think so as well.
but it would be really, really, really great if they kept those 2 months and said, "Hey, we're going to give you that time to work on what you want to work on."
But still, and play this out a couple of ways. There's effectively 4 months in the year left, correct? I mean, we've got 16 weeks left in the year is probably
Yeah,
a better way to say it. Uh, if we get 8 weeks of characters and 8 weeks off, that's a let me rephrase that. If we get 8 weeks of characters and 8 weeks of not having to apply relic levels,
hmm,
because that's really where I think a lot of pushes for people right now. Uh, I think that's an overall win for the community.
yes,
Uh, that said, if we get a month of ships, a month of bounty hunters, and 2 months off, what does the community sound like in December because we haven't had anything for 2 months?
I think
Like,
that's
careful what you ask for type scenario, you know?
it's a very it sucks because again,
Yeah.
I've been antagonistic a little bit sometimes. I've tried to be better at that in the last 2 years or so. You're right. The community does get to a point where they want something, they want something, they want something. And then they get that thing and they go, wait, I didn't actually want
Yeah.
this thing,
Yeah.
right? Like, where is the content? So it's
Yep.
like this monkey paw scenario. I think even just Zetas, for me, I don't care. I'm sure you don't care so much, but there are a lot of players that are really struggling for Zetas. And a lot of the people
Yeah.
asking me for help now are asking me for, can you break down what Zetas are good and what Zetas are not? Because I just don't have the budget to be able to
Yeah.
apply all of these things. And it is a damned if you do, damned if you don't thing for CG. Because but I do think it's irrelevant because I do think we are going to see like a one episode era, like so episode 13 is like the holiday era, right? Nothing happens during the
Yep.
holiday era.
Yeah.
I feel like episode 12 is going to be like a bonus era. It's going to be a lifter era like these two that is not thematically linked to these two.
Yeah. Now, all right. Here's an interesting, and I didn't watch the videos, but I saw a screenshot in Arnold's stream today.
Okay.
So there's a
I think I know what you're going to say.
a new General Kenobi
Hmm.
in the event. The event's really fun. We'll talk about Hondo in a minute, but there is a 212 tag.
Yeah.
He had a tag for the 212. That would be interesting to have that roll in either now or a little bit further down the road. Um, you know,
I
the,
saw it on Reddit
there was
today.
yeah. There was also in the event a lot of really interesting things. When you kind of looking at the characters in that event, there were a lot of very very interesting things that um, you know I believe. So, and some of it is I don't know if some of it is down to what is the what was the screenshot and what wasn't. Yeah, so I
Hmm.
thought someone had actually like at one point I thought they had called Ezra Jabba the Hutt in
Yes,
the event,
I saw
but
that.
yeah. So well, you know I think that look, there's a ton of speculation. It's always fun to speculate on that side. I think the reality is that this feels like CG's listening a little bit. I know they need
Hmm.
plans for ships and those other pieces, but it does just feel like all right, we're gonna take the foot off the gas a little bit. Catch up on the raid, catch up on these, catch up on Mace, catch up on Hondo, and the other ones will make sense when when we need them to make sense.
So to answer, I mean, there's there's a lot going on there, but with the 2 and 2, right? The 212, I get it. I know people are excited. They love the squad. I hope, I'm hoping that we don't get that in the foreseeable future, just because I'm kind of over clones. Like they all
Yeah,
they did a good job, I think, with these four that we've gotten, where they don't all look the same as much. But I don't need another month of or 2 months of clone content coming out again to start next year. I know people love the content that those characters come from. So if it comes, I'm not going to be antagonistic to it. Um, I'm wondering if it's just, and I haven't played the event, if it's just a tag that was needed so that the character can work specifically with other
yeah.
characters in the event. Again, I'm kind of talking out of my ass as someone who hasn't played it, but that's my hope for now. Do I hope they come to the game at some point? Yeah, sure. But I don't want a quarter of my year built up through that when we've already done that.
Not to mention the what will turn into 3 months of people adamantly proclaiming this is what the next raid is.
Yeah.
We
Yes.
got a 212, which means we are getting, we're getting a battle of Geonosis.
Yeah.
Like that's the no man. We're gonna get a new team of characters that are gonna be used in the raid, and it's gonna be whoever they want them to be from that side. But
You know what? A
yeah, it
Geonosis
will.
raid would actually be really cool. If you
It would
think
be.
about
Yeah,
the battle that actually happened there, there's a lot of design space to do something
yeah,
super cool with that. With the different characters coming in at different times
yeah,
and using the stuff that started with this raid, right? The thematic, like you kill him and then he comes back and then you
yeah.
could do that with all the different characters. It
Yep,
would be kind of sweet.
yeah. Uh, we'll see though. Looking forward to this era. Not that I wasn't. I'm not somebody who was not a fan of the pirate era.
Hmm.
It was fine for me. But yeah, the could care about the ships. I'm interested to see how the ships work
Yes.
in this. But the two characters coming in a month to me is going to be really exciting.
Yeah,
Um,
and now the other thing, to kind of answer something else that you said just before when listening to the community, right? I'm not dense, but I also appreciate it. Two things can be true at the same time. You
yeah,
can be listening to the community and also listening to the bottom line, right? And watching and maybe
yeah,
seeing you did really well here, but maybe because pirates were not as exciting for as many people, there was a dip because it was too long. I kind of like the idea of 2 episode eras because now if I don't know the content or like the content, that's 30% less time before I get to something that maybe
yeah.
resonates with me a little bit more. So it's listening to the community, but it could also be the other thing. And I kind of hope that this works and they go, oh, maybe this is the better way to go about things.
Yeah. The I like the shorter era punches. I think it also you don't need to. Maybe this gets us out of the need for 6 characters in an era,
Hmm.
or at least it feels like I need 6 characters in an era to actually build a team, which I think is part of the challenge we have right now.
Yeah.
Uh, I think this further exacerbates the problem of how do conquest characters fit into this.
Yes.
Um,
Which is a great
because
segue too.
again, yeah, yeah. Which again, yeah. So let's talk about that. We are. They've announced a new conquest character. No details. Uh, I'll be honest. When I saw the name, the stranger, I had no idea who it was.
Me too.
Uh,
I was like, what is this Diablo
yeah,
2? Like what's
it,
going on?
yeah. And then I saw people talking about Quimir. I think I said that correctly. Uh, and I just assumed that people were. I just kept reading it as Quiggled, but then I realized it is Jake Jordals from A Good Place. That's who this is. So this is the Sith character from the Acolyte. Uh, I am dumbfounded how excited people are over this character.
Hmm. I think the thing
Dumbfounded.
with the Acolyte is that people didn't like it. It didn't resonate with them. I
Yep.
get that. It didn't really resonate with me either, but people loved this character. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
there are people who are like, I hate the Acolyte, but I will do a second season if it just revolves around him because I love this character. And I get it. He's got 8 pack abs. He's got a nice
Yeah.
ass.
Yeah.
I understand, right? I can
He's
see
got a
that.
cool helmet. He's got a really cool helmet.
We went different ways with
It-
that.
yeah. Yeah. You know what? Uh, Black helmet over his head. Helmet. Yeah. Uh, yeah. I watched the Acolyte. Uh, I don't remember much of it. Actually, I was
Hmm.
did a Wikipedia dive into it last night, trying to remember what a lot of that show was. Um, Look, I don't want to litigate the show. I think the bigger problem with the show is just about every show that was released, that was kind of filmed and released in, from 20 to 2022 because of COVID, sucked ass. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
just productions were limited that way. But I, for just all of the people that did not like that, it's an interesting study in people that like I hate the most recent set of prequels or sequels. Um, so I don't like the characters from from that era, like the Ray and Kylo stuff. I just don't like all.
Hmm.
Then the Acolyte. The Acolyte is terrible. I love this guy. Like it no rhyme or reason. I think to the way people look at it. I I want to know the tags. Like to me, this is
Yeah.
what is his job?
Yes, and I know some people have speculated like, hey, this is going to be the actual sea lifter, right? And Bane is. He just happens to do better by himself. Um,
Yeah,
so people
yeah,
have been excited to say, hey, this is a sea lifter. This is going to work really, really, really well with him. We'll see what happens there. Who
yeah.
knows? I think the thing that I'm most worried about here is around December. I know you're familiar with Three Scoundrels. The Three Scoundrels, they always do like a prediction. And
Yeah.
Bones, right, who is the dumbest player to ever play this game. And I don't feel bad saying that at all, because I think he'll find that funny if he listens to this. First thing he predicted was Skeleton Crew content. We got Skeleton
Yeah.
Crew content. And everyone said no. They're like, you're an idiot. Nobody's buying Skeleton Crew content. The other thing that he said was Accolade content. And we said, no, you're an idiot. Everybody hated the Accolade. And we've gotten both this year. And I just need him to not predict things for next year. Because I can't. I don't want Teak in this game. I don't need Battle for Endor characters in this game. I'm done.
My biggest, like, you start to kind of, you see the trends of where things are going to go, and my biggest dread over the next few months will be the people that are adamant that this is Darth Plagueis is coming, and not that I got a problem with Darth Plagueis is coming, but I just think sometimes people read too much into what these character releases are. Like,
can we talk about Plagueis for a second?
Real quick, because
Okay.
I want to use the counter to that. When Smee came out, no one predicted pirates.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, it's going to be this weird droid that we're going to get as part of it.
For Afra or something.
Came out for Afra. Like, so it was a no one even remotely close to where they got. So again, it's like, speculate all you want to, but don't hang yourself up so far over the line that you are adamant that it's going to happen, because there's no other way that it can work. So yes, let's talk about Plagueis.
Plagueis. You've read the book, I'm assuming.
I have, yeah.
So I read the book a few years ago when I was on a really big reading kick, and everyone's like, the Plagueis book, the Plagueis book, the Plagueis book. And now I'm going to jump, and this is not going to make sense for a second, but there is a book called Belinda Blinked. Are you familiar with the book Belinda Blinked?
I am not.
Okay. So Belinda Blinked is a pornographic book written by a retired Englishman. It is not good in any way, and I promise to anyone listening that this is relevant. He wrote like 5 books about this business executive, Belinda, who got into very sexual encounters. It's really lowbrow erotica. And one day his 30-year-old son, 30-some-odd-year-old son, found the book, started reading it, and said, you know what? I'm going to get 2 of my friends together, and we're going to do a podcast. And the podcast is called My Dad Wrote a Porno. And it went for 6 seasons. They had an HBO special. This is how big this podcast got. If anyone has not listened to this, it is very funny. It's over now. The book is terrible. Their commentary is great. My wife and I used to listen to it, and we'd listen to it separately and text about it, and it was just the funniest thing in the world. And it's funny because the sexual encounters, like, he uses the grossest words. Like, you're like, nobody would ever call that's weird.
Yeah.
But there's also like a business primer in this book, because she's this pots and pans saleswoman. So there's always this avenue of like selling things and being in business meetings. And the tie here is that after reading Plagueis, to me, I felt like 90% of the book was just banking clans. Like, it.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't really I understood the story, but I don't understand why people love this character as much as they do, because the book itself is just a Star Wars business primer.
Yeah. That's funny. But by the way, so I immediately Googled it. This looks absolutely wonderful.
It's amazing. 10/10 would recommend. I invited actually the author to our wedding, my wife and I, and he didn't come, but he did send us a little card, and he sent us a little business card, like a maybe like 1/2 inch by 6-inch picture of a tit, a signed tit. I don't know, but like it was funny. I highly recommend.
But by the way, as I'm looking at this on Google right now, there is the third image is someone made a fake movie poster, casted the entire movie.
I hope.
And it's just awesome. It's just awesome.
I hope. we would be the first ones in line because it is so bad that it is good. But that is when I read the Plagueis book, I had already listened to most of this podcast, and the majority of the time I was like, this is like it's not bad, but I don't
Yeah.
understand why people love it as much as they do.
Well, I think that's the EU.
Yeah.
You know, there is a look. Kevin J. Anderson wrote a ton of the early EU stuff.
Hmm.
He is terrible. Like it is. Um, Clearly was paid by the word. You know, the first 3 paragraphs of every chapter summarized the last previous set of chapters. So it was
Hmm.
essentially he rewrote the book 34 times in the collection of the book. Um, because there was just a period of time where any new Star Wars was better than no Star
Yeah.
Wars.
That is
You know?
true. That is true. I
Yeah.
did not exist in that time period as long as you
Yeah.
did, but I do
Yeah.
kind of remember that era of being like, oh, I wish there was something else.
Yeah. Yeah. And the internet wasn't enough of a thing that people could write fan fiction. Not that fan fiction is good, but some of the EU fan fiction. Um, you know.
So
Yeah,
do
I'm
you,
gonna have to take a look at this.
it's worth it. And look, I don't know your relationship. I don't know your wife. But I will tell you that we both listened to it. We both enjoyed it. We
Yeah.
both had tickets to see them live at Madison Square Garden, but then the pandemic hit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we didn't get to see the live show, unfortunately. But it's just so bad that it is good. Um, do we have anything? Well, there's one more thing on this era is sort of is the Leviathan buff, right? Like I think it's worth mentioning that Leviathan gets a buff, right? I have it up here. The Leviathan change. The unique will now have this added Galactic Republic, Jedi, and Rebel enemies can't assist or attack again if their attack is targeting a Sith. So clearly, CG with this profundity buff is trying to keep Leviathan on top,
Yeah. Uh, which who cares at this point?
right? It's 2 years on.
I mean, they're more than happy to run a set of characters kind of meta in 12 months.
Hmm.
Why are we trying to maintain a shake it up?
Yeah.
Just at least give me a turnover. I don't. Um, yeah, I was a little surprised by that. Especially, yeah, I think again, I think it's a fair bet to say in 2026 fleet it's going to fall off anyway.
Yeah.
So
I would
just
hope so.
let it get a little nutty for the next 6 to 9 months.
Though right before we started recording, I did look on Reddit and somebody that buff is in game. I think I'm pretty sure it's in game, but like obviously the new ships aren't in game, and people are still beating Leviathan with their
Yeah,
profundity. With Mark 6, so obviously it wouldn't be viable for
yeah,
GAC.
yep.
Um, but people are already breaking down this buff for no reason. There's I don't know. It is what it is. Did you have anything else on this era?
No, I think again it's we'll see how it shakes out. Maybe the last thing on the era is it'll be interesting to see how they extend the era battles over the next 2 months.
Yes.
Uh, because a lot of people are very very dependent on those resources right now. you know.
Yes, and I will say I'm a little annoyed just because I did not well on the pirates. I did well on pirate Jude Law, just because
Yeah.
I assumed I was like, oh, you know what, it'll speed me up a little bit. And I did the era battles, and of course I got 2x Jude Law shards.
Yeah.
So a little annoyed there, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yes, I get it. All right, so we're gonna do our first real kit read,
Yeah. I think so.
right? And I think to clarify this, the AI, I've talked about this before, but the AI thing, people have loved it, people have hated it. There's no in between. And the reason we do it is because generally kit reads they're not interesting and they're not as important as people think they are. But today we are going to do an actual read because it's a GL and it's
Yep.
important. So I'm gonna stretch my vocal cords and throw in Pirate King Hondo Onaka. I actually thought about beforehand, and I wish you had told me that your voice wasn't up to it a little earlier, because I was like, who is great at voices is Old Man Logan, and had ask him to record this in a
Yeah.
Pirate Onaka voice. But I'm gonna do it, and we'll read through it. And you have done the event, you've played with him, you've toyed around with him,
I
you've
have.
you've seen
Yep.
stuff, and you're gonna tell me what all of this means, because it is gonna be all meaningless to me, right? So we have Pirate King Hondo Onaka, who is Dark Side. Galactic Legend, Dark Side, Support, Leader, Pirate, Scoundrel, Smuggler, Order 66 Raid, and is competing with Django Fett for the most tags, I suppose. Key
Likely yes.
attributes, not really that important to me. Inspiration, not really important to me. Strategy tips, you're going to tell me all about that. Uh, FAQ, that's what we're here for, and our abilities. I'm going to skip the ultimate ability and go to that last.
Yep. Makes sense.
Okay.
Yep.
So we have our basic ability, Pistol Panache. It's a Zeta. Obviously, everything for a Galactic Legend is a Zeta. Deal physical damage to target enemy and gain 1 stack of profit. If this ability scores a critical hit, all pirate allies gain a stack of profit. If it is Pirate King Hondo Onaka's turn, call a random pirate attacker and a random other pirate ally to assist, dealing 2% more damage for each stack of profit on all 3 allies. And if the target enemy is Jedi or Sith, remove 2% turn meter for each buff and debuff on them. If any turn meter was removed, Hondo gains 3% ultimate charge. If Pirate King Hondo Onaka had 10 or more stacks of profit at the start of his turn, this ability is guaranteed to critically hit if able. Uh, doesn't profit give crit chance? Is it crit damage
Uh,
and crit chance? I think it's crit damage and crit chance.
that's a great question.
I'm almost positive. I'm gonna just keep
I
stalling and talking
yeah.
because I see you googling it right now. So I'm just gonna keep going so there's no dead space, and you're gonna.
Yes, 10% critical chance, 10% critical damage. Yeah.
So
Yeah, 10% critical chance, 10% critical damage per stack, max of 50 until the end of battle.
so this is pretty much gonna crit all the time anyway.
Yes, it does. It does.
Oh yeah, I
Yep.
figured.
Yep.
Um, Special one, loot first, ask later, cooldown of 4. Final text. All pirate allies gain 10 mastery, stacking until the end of the encounter. Pirate King Hondo Onaka steals all buffs, excluding taunt effects, from the target enemy, resets their duration, and grants all buffs on himself, excluding stealth and taunt effects, to all pirate allies. And grants all buffs on himself. Okay. Then
Yep.
he inflicts the opposite debuff, if any, on the target enemy for 2 turns, dispels any remaining buffs on them, and increases their cooldowns by 1. This ability can't be resisted. Okay. Special 2, Charismatic Captain, cooldown of 5. Final text dispels all debuffs from all allies, and all pirate allies recover 30% health and protection and gain 25% turn meter. If Pirate King Hondo Onaka has 10 or more stacks of profit, consume 10 of them, and all pirate allies instead gain 75% turn meter and speed up for 2 turns. Call all other pirate allies to assist, and if Hondo consumed stacks of profit with this ability, call all other pirate allies to assist again. All right, so this is getting silly now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our leader ability. Wow, this is actually a fairly small leader ability for a GL, I think.
Yep.
Leader is Pirate King, self-proclaimed. At the start of battle, all pirate allies and all smuggler allies gain 30% offense and 3% speed. Pirate allies gain 35% defense and 25% tenacity and are immune to fear, healing immunity, shock, and turn meter removal. If there are no light side allies, all pirates gain lightning raid. Oh, that's down on the
Yep.
bottom. Okay, for one turn, increased to 2 turns if the enemy in the leader slot is a Jedi, and lightning raid deals 20% more damage and can ignore taunt. Okay. Pirate King Hondo Onaka gains 2% ultimate charge whenever a pirate ally uses an ability that steals buffs. At the start of Hondo's turn, if there are Sith enemies, daze them for 2 turns, which can't be dispelled, evaded, or resisted. If the enemy in the leader slot is a Jedi, pirate allies gain 10% offense and 4% speed whenever an enemy Jedi attacks out of turn. They take damage equal to 3% of their max health, and all pirate allies gain 2% offense stacking for the rest of battle. This damage can't be evaded and can't defeat enemies. Unique. Oh man, I see why you didn't want to read this. Unique 1. It's not personal, it's profitable. The maximum cap for profit is removed for Pirate King Hondo Onaka at the start of battle. If Pirate King Hondo Onaka is in the leader slot, all pirate allies gain 5 stacks of profit. Hondo gains an additional 2 stacks of profit for each relic amplifier level he has, max 9 levels, which is interesting because I think it's max 10 on a lot of kits.
Yes.
Whenever an allied pirate attacks out of turn, they gain a stack of profit. Whenever pirate allies are damaged by a Jedi or Sith enemy, they gain a stack of profit. Whenever Pirate King Hondo uses a special ability, all pirate allies gain 2 stacks of profit. While pirate allies have 15 or more stacks of profit, they receive 10% less damage, and while they have less than 15 stacks of profit, they gain 10% turn meter for each turn an enemy takes. And then Unique 2 is just the Galactic Legend
Yep.
Unique,
Yeah.
which is the same as always. This seems silly to me. The one noticeable thing that and this is my first time reading this, there's no mastery gains from any of the uniques, right? It's only from the special.
No, correct. It's only from the special, and this is a really important point, and this is so let's level set something for the conversation, right?
Okay.
The folks that have been playing with the Pirate King,
Hmm.
uh, they are struggling against Slicker Dark Vision Ray.
Hmm.
They are struggling against Jedi Master Kenobi
Okay.
with Ezra and the Hodocron. And I think it's important to note on that they're struggling against 2 pretty transformational Datacrons that, and in the case of the Hodocron right now, is being deployed in a way that I don't think. So let's push those off to the side
Yeah.
because and what it's coming down to is it sounds like there's just not enough damage is ramping. So the only increase that he has in the kit is when he uses loot first, ask later.
Yes.
All pirate allies get 10 flat stacking mastery, not a percentage increase of stacking mastery.
Yes.
It was actually in the notes that they referenced. So he is a agility support character,
Hmm.
and basically what it said is, hey, in our testing, if it was percentage increase, eventually agility support have a higher chance of dodge,
Hmm.
increasing that mastery. Actually got it to the point that he was just unkillable. You
Yeah.
could not find a way to hit him and kill him. So that my guess, um, we will likely see that flat value tuned
Hmm.
up a little bit. I think it's better to start low and work its way up. But yeah, there's the mastery is not really there now. That said, it feels like every time you blink, that special one ability is available.
Interesting.
Like hit the button. Like it's
Yeah.
one of those cases. Hit the button. Um, and I think that uh, because his kit only has one damaging ability, and that's his
Hmm.
basic. I think a lot of people hold on to that because it's it's like, oh well, I need, what is it? That one's the steals all. Yeah, great, grant mastery to your team. It'll be
Hmm.
back. It'll be back fast enough for that to happen. So, but right now there is not a lot of mastery being passed around.
See, I would think, and again, I'm not the one testing, so I have no idea. But I guess the solution to that would be grant 10% mastery to allies and 10 mastery to Hondo. But again,
Yeah,
maybe they tried that and it just didn't work. But if we're really only struggling against Slicker and JMK with Hodacron, those are both going to be gone in 2 weeks, and we, as a community, have kind of said that those are insanely overpowered
yeah,
as
yeah.
datacrons anyway, right? So I'm not too worried about that, and I think Slicker was kind of isolated as an expected counter from the beginning.
Yep. So I think broadly the complaints right now are the kit doesn't really have a lasting way to get around taunt. It's kind of
Hmm.
the same problem that Lord Vader has. Now, there's some I know that there's some clears in some of the other pirates, so I think it's again it's maybe it's like I was the way these do these Galactic Legend kits anyway. You don't have to learn the GL's kit. You need to
Hmm.
learn the four
Every
people that
kit.
come along with them at the same time. So I think some of that it doesn't have it doesn't block revives. It doesn't get around taunt. There's some things that we just kind of were using some of the kits that allow us to go kill the thing we need to kill to make the rest of the fight easier. I think this to understand the strategy character. The the first thing, and it's funny because I'm very bad at going in and reading uniques, like some of the non-damaging abilities, but I think it is in unique one.
Okay,
He grants all pirates 5 stacks of profit.
right in the beginning.
Hondo get right in the beginning, and Hondo gets 2 stacks of profit each relic amplifier level he has up to 9. So he starts with 18,
Yes,
right?
and that's what I was kind of saying, right? With the first his first ability with crits, like right off the bat, he has so much
He's got
profit
it.
that
Yeah.
like there's no reason.
And more importantly, that second special where consume 10 and give all of your allies 75% turn speed up for 2 turns.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can immediately do that. And
Okay.
and and here's the and we talked about this before the start of the show. Hondo's base speed is 408, which makes him the fastest character in the game. Uh, I got him to 618 with a speed set and not really finding the fastest mods that I possibly.
Hmm.
So he's even with like there's some of these cases where it's like the other team's getting like 10 or 15% turn meter to start. Yeah, man, no, he's gonna go first. He's
Yeah.
just gonna go first. All of a sudden I bump my entire team up and you start turning over turns in those cases. Um, I think he'll be fine. Yeah.
Yes. From what I've seen, from what I mean, seen is the wrong word, but from the people that I've talked to, it seems like he's not struggling at
No.
all right now. And of course, datacrons are always, when we talk about PvP, datacrons are always going to play a role in that. I guess one question that I have is, and again, my pirates are 5 star, 6 star. When I was originally modding them specifically for Hondo, right? But we are guessing at that
Yeah.
point. Some of these characters had like crit chance sets on them. It just seems kind of irrelevant to even bother.
Yeah. I think maybe some of this gets into to modding strategies that
Yeah.
people have. Uh, I spend less time concerned about the sets, and I get more I'm more concerned about targets. So for the attackers, I need a minimum 10,000
Hmm.
of the prime, whether it's physical or special damage on that side, and I want certain speed values. If I can get there with a crit chance set,
Then you
more
do it.
power to it. But typically it's more of the um, man, this is an entire other like show concept here, but I think sets matter less than primaries because 8% is such a massive bump. Like 8% offenses on a triangle is such a massive bump. So,
Yes.
um, I think it's tanks, tanky, attackers, attacky. Pirate Jude Law, I'm still not sure what he does.
I don't.
Uh,
I was kind of bothered because again, I kind of wailed on him and I was doing the battles and he would do his like moves and he wasn't. I got through the
yeah,
whole week not having killed 20 characters with him. And he was my strongest pirate and I was like,
yeah,
I don't, I know he's not an attacker, but like he's at relics and 6-star and has pretty decent mods on him and he's fighting marquee characters. What's going on here? I
yeah.
had to go
I
into
mean, he's
galactic
got
challenges.
now. What's interesting is I'm looking at his kit. His first special is Frenzy for 2 turns. That's actually that's pretty great. Um, with some other stuff. The second one, remove all turn meter from target enemy, and all of the pirate allies gain turn meter equal to that amount. So again, it's a good ability, but it's a 2 support character team is just not something we're used to.
Yeah.
And I don't think that Pirate King Hondo does a lot of damage. I
Hmm.
mean, he's a lot like Jabba. That Jabba doesn't do a lot of damage. He enables damage for other people.
Yeah.
Um, so the question is, do we have the right attackers? Maybe is or some of that. The I think it also doesn't help. The event is awesome.
Yes.
The event is
I've
great.
heard. I've heard a lot of praise
Yeah,
for it.
yeah. At a very high level, without spoiling it, man, Hondo is involved in every major event that happened in the history of Star Wars. That's just the only way to look at it. Uh, what and I'll give credit to Molt Pokey because he was kind of the first one that said it. I couldn't figure out what didn't feel right about the event. You don't use the pirates anywhere in it,
Hmm.
so you don't get a chance to start playing around with this. Until a lot of people, first time that they get go to the, and then it's just like, well, this didn't do what it was supposed to. Well, yeah, because I didn't get the 10 or 15 battles, what they do and how they work. So I think it's a complex. It reads very simple in his kit, but when you start adding all the other pieces, it's really really complex.
Yeah.
I know in a territory battle today, I used the first special, and all of a sudden the entire team had like 400 debuffs on, and I'm like, oh, this looks. And then they didn't take a turn. They were just crippled beyond belief, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. So I think again, I think it'll be great, but I don't. He's not going to be Leia where Drogon takes a turn and moves someone off the.
Hmm.
That's just not the way this kid is set up. So
Which is Leia's whole, thing
it is,
as
it is.
that's their
Um,
whole bread and butter. I think the one thing that I struggle with this team, I guess, and again, having played them or having played against them yet, but just from what you're telling me, I always struggle against teams that take so many turns in a row because in my head, as I watch the battle, I'm like, all right, come on, like let's go. Like I want
yeah,
to participate
yeah,
also. Even if I know I'm gonna win, right? Like, all right, I know I have the counter to this, but I need to like DS Raycron, right? And DS Ray goes 3, her attack is 3 attacks. Um,
yeah.
so she counters 3 times and then she does her basic 3 times, and you're just like, I'm gonna win this battle, but it's gonna take 4 minutes because just waiting until I get through all of her attacks takes forever.
Yep.
And I don't have a solution
Uh,
to that, unfortunately, but it is something that does frustrate me a little bit when I'm playing.
the 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 part that I'm struggling right now is understanding the Brutus and Vane interaction, and I need to go do some research on this because you know Brutus's first move gives himself ferocity,
Hmm.
and the cool part about Bane's kit is Bane steals everyone else's debuffs. So he immediately then turns around and steals Brutus's ferocity.
Ferocity.
So does Brutus get something in return for that, or is it just pirate BS, and that's just the way that pirates work. So, yeah, I think it's just I think it's going to take some people some time to figure something. Uh, also, when you get into arena, none of the Omicron play, so who knows what some of these teams look like with some of the Omicrons. The for anyone who's going to do the event, and you can pretty much win every battle just doing nothing but Hondo space. It's that simple.
That dead simple.
Yeah. For me, this is the first time that so I ran through about 26,000 dark side energy to get it done. So it cost me nothing. I didn't spend the crystals. I was able to burn through it. Man, farming ultimate mats, I forget how terrible that is. But I think that part of this is just still trying to figure out what it is that he does. He gets to ultimate fast. The whole interaction. Did we actually talk about the ultimate? Did we go back and read that?
You know what? We actually did not read the ultimate. That's a great call. And people who are listening to this, they're gonna be like, "That dumbass, he did not read the ultimate. That piece of shit." So we're gonna go back and we're gonna read the ultimate here. Good call there. This is why you don't skip things. So the ultimate, mutual gains for me, requires 100% ultimate charge to activate. Pirate King Hondo Onaka, the charge. All right, so the charge. Pirate King Hondo Onaka gains 1% ultimate charge whenever a pirate ally gains a stack of profit, and 2% ultimate charge whenever a pirate ally uses an ability that steals buffs. Yeah. All pirate and smuggler allies are revived with 100% health. All enemies lose 25% turn meter, doubled for Jedi and Sith, which can't be resisted. Jedi and Sith enemies also have their cooldowns increased by 2. Enemies gain critical damage up, defense up, and offense up for 2 turns. Pirate King Hondo then inflicts Tenuous Agreement on all enemies for 2 turns, which can't be copied, dispelled, evaded, or resisted, and grants favorable terms to all pirate allies for 2 turns, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. Tenuous Agreement is plus 10 speed, but deal 30% less damage to characters with favorable terms. Favorable terms, 20% critical chance and offense. Recover 10% protection at the start of this character's turn. Gain a bonus turn. And grant allied Pirate King Hondo Onaka 2 stacks of profit when defeating an enemy with Tenuous Agreement. So, basically, you need Prevents Revive.
Yes.
What's going on here?
Yeah. Yep. Well, and there's one other piece to this, because look, there's a lot to unpack, and I'm going to talk about each pair. There's also, whenever an enemy damages a character with favorable terms, they are inflicted with 1 stack of offense for 2 turns, which can't be evaded, and Pirate King Hondo gains an additional 2 stacks. So there's one. They stack profit so insanely.
Yeah.
At one point in one of the battles, one of the character unlock battles, I was upwards of like 72 stacks. So it runs its way. So yeah, you're right. So all pirate allies and smuggler and smuggler, interesting. Revive with 100% health, which is great. All enemies lose 25% turn meter, double Jedi and Sith, which can't be resisted. Cooldowns increased by 2. Here's one of, again, like, kind of enemies get crit damage up, defense up, and offense, so that my pirates can then turn around and steal that for me and grant the opposite buff.
Yeah.
Really cool from that standpoint. Grants Tenuous Agreement and favorable terms, can't be dispelled or prevented. Got it. That's standard pieces. Again, kind of like the Leia buff. And I think it will eventually work its way. It's only for 2 terms. So you can get it back a couple of the Now, tenuous agreement. And when I read this, I didn't process it this way. The bad guys get 10% speed.
Yes.
The reason for that is you want them to take a turn because they're going to be in. You're going to speed them up a little bit. They're going to get a chance to make an attack after them. And then favorable terms, all the fun stuff. This character's so 20% off a critical chance in offense. So it's until you protection at the start of the character's turn, and then gain a bonus turn and grant allied pirate King Hondo Onaka 2 stacks of profit when defeating an enemy with tenuous agreement. So Silvo has frenzy, which means a lot of extra turns. This is extra turns at this point. It kind of feels like, again, take some of these datacrons out of the mix or start adding different datacrons. This team starts to kind of roll itself, starts working up some momentum and starts through everything. So it's a cool, and again, you don't get access to the ultimate though until like last wave. It's that you pull up, so it's one of those like, oh yeah, now I guess it's an interesting ultimate. It's an ultimate we get in a 5-minute fight. You're probably gonna be able to pull off times.
How many times? Sorry, you broke up a little.
Three times. So not the and not the Lord Vader. Please God, make the pain stop. Get to the third time piece of it. It's going to move pretty quick. So.
Oh, I mean, I'm not looking forward to seeing. I guess my last question on Onaka, and I was talking to someone about this right before we were recording, in terms of like GAC for the first week. I kind of said to a few people that I know who are getting him early and who are not in Kyber 1 because they wailed on him. I was like, I would probably put him on defense just because people won't know how to deal with him. What are your thoughts on what you plan to do? If you I know you don't always play GAC, you don't always have time, but like what you would do.
So I'm going to freely admit to anyone that I run into in the next 5 matches, 6 matches, I'm an asshole. I am so after PICO, Galactic Legend PICO, I am now 16 million GP.
Yeah.
And I am in Kyber 3 because I didn't do anything once in 3v3 and I missed last week. So yeah, I'm gonna set it on defense.
Okay.
Most of my opponents don't have the horses. If I were kind of in my hover at the bottom of K1 phase, I would
Offense.
Because I don't like getting new toys and then just sticking
not playing it
or defense for the next 3 months. But I will probably stick in there just maybe work my way back up a little bit to where I need to be. So
it's interesting. You fall to K3, and I'm actually in K1 now for it's for the third time. But we're gonna see today, after today's match, if this is the first time I win a match in K1. So we're gonna find out.
Okay.
We're gonna see if that happens. But we've kind of flip flopped there. So I feel vindicated on the defense thing, but I do understand the playing with your new toys thing because when the Gungans came out, I think I said this to you before, I refused to put them on defense even with their amazing crons, just because I was the champion of Gungans. I needed to play them. I wanted to see them played. I wanted to stream it. I wanted to try it. I wanted to see those big blue balls flying through the air. So I get the idea behind that. We did
the other
no, you go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
One last thing on Hondo, because we happened to open a raid up yesterday.
Okay.
And I remembered to leave an open fight. So I ran the King, Smee, Silvo, Brutus, and Bane. So kind of what his expected kit is. Button mashed my way to success, and it wasn't even close. It will be my guess would it will be an auto win. It is so stupid easy. I read on Reddit earlier today. No, maybe it was in our Discord. There are people. No, it was your Discord. There are people that are having success right now. Hondo Vayne, I think.
Okay.
They're R9. They're maxing out the score. 3 characters, all you need to make. And it's Vayne's there to kind of pull all the. There is a Pirate King 3-man team that'll get you 3.6. So for folks that are there, and I get not everybody. That's just another just run the score up as high as you can possibly get.
I might do that when I get him. I wasn't gonna R9 5 pirates unless Smugglers Run 3 makes me R9 5 pirates.
Yeah.
But for 3 pirates, I might consider it. If it makes my life easier, I might consider that. Um, so 2 thoughts. My first thought is I had said to you beforehand, wow, this is going to be like literally the longest episode. We have so much to get through, and that was yesterday, and we did a really nice job, and we're only at 70 minutes right now, which is kind of in line with where we are. I know that you brought up another topic that you said, hey, maybe we're going to talk about this, maybe we're not going to talk about this. I'm going to give you the lead on if you think we should do that now, or if you think I don't want to even give it away unless you want to. If you want to save it, what do you want to do?
Let's hit this very quick. I mean, I don't think that
Okay.
we have any time to do an analysis, but I think that people kind of like understand kind of what's going. But again, because of the update and the Datacron update has data mine. Depending on where you are in the stores, you might be fresh into it. It's an interesting mix.
Mm-hmm.
So to start with, we're not going to go kid by
Crazy.
kid or anything like that. But the faction, and you can get this from and get all the details you want on GG. But this is going to be built into pirates, first order, and unaligned force users. Unaligned force users always causes chaos. So many different teams that you can build around that. And then the level 9s, I think. So you've got Brutus. Let me see if I can do this by faction. So you've got Brutus,
Okay.
Emphy's Nest. You've got regular Hondo. You've got who else is in there? Captain Silva, Sanastaros, and Quiggled are the pirates.
Yes.
So you'll have options for Galactic Legend Hondo Onaka. You'll also have options for Maz when Maz comes out with that way. From we'll do unaligned force users last. First order. So here's the interesting one. Supreme Leader Kylo Ren is in this set. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if he's going to be one of these weird. You got to have a first order 6 to get him, or an unaligned force user. But you've got Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, First Order Stormtrooper, regular Kylo Ren, General Hux, and I thought there was First Order Executioner, and First Order Special Forces TIE Pilot.
Yes.
First Order's Special Forces TIE Pilot has a really long kit, which means it's going to be.
I think
That's
it's the
just always
same one
seems
as last time, right? That caused
it,
grief. It looks like it is because he can't die, and I remember that being a thing last time.
I was wondering if some of these weren't a refresh because the characters.
I remember just the specific while Allied Supreme Leader Kylo Ren is active, Supreme First Order Special Forces TIE Pilot can't be defeated, while
Okay.
First Order allies have advantage, they ignore taunt. I feel like this is the same one, but I can't say 100% for certain.
Which also lines up to what we got last year, because last year for the back half of the calendar year repeats of existing, like we got that really good
The Sidious.
and things like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So the unaligned force which again I think is a really, it's 10% defense, 10% health percent, 10 speed,
10 speed.
stacking max 200 until the end of the encounter, which I think is great. So again, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, Visas Mar, which is different than the one that she had. Ben Solo, Ray. So it's interesting. We got a Ben Solo and a Ray. So pick which one that was. The Ben Solo one, again, I think deals damage to an enemy, remove 25% turn.
Yes.
And he's got that AE that hits under protection. So Ray's got the speed up ultimate charge. Sir Junda, uh, Commander Luke Skywalker, and Kylo Ren unmasked as well. So um, nice mix of interesting characters. Um, we can maybe take a look at a later date. Um, we're also getting 4 focus datacrons,
Mm-hmm.
and they will be Adrad, Iden, and Trench, all at level 15, and then a Jawa level 9. And I assume that Jawa level 9 is Jawa the character. Like,
That makes
um,
sense. Yeah, especially if
yeah,
it's um
yeah,
one thing that I do want to say about this set. Can we just CG's clearly listening to us, right? Because we tagged this era battle, the era, and they were like, "Oh crap, we have to like make this work for them." Can we just stop buffing Ray? I'm so sick and fucking tired of it. Like I get it. She is a
yeah,
defense staple, but especially with Ezra being on the
yeah,
team for most people now, I'm so over it. She
yeah,
has been disproportionately Datacron heavy forever
yeah,
because it's
yeah,
resistance, because it is unaligned force user, because it is Jedi you can throw with her, because it's just light side you can like. I'm
yeah.
so fucking done. Just stop,
Uh,
please.
the comment when I think Bodhi posted it in our guild chat and kind of was like, you know, thankfully we're getting datacrons for Ray and Slicker because they have been clearly lacking over the last 5 years
Right.
that they've been released. So
I'm
I guess
over it.
the other we're getting 15% max health and protection on dark on light side. Uh, at the start of the encounter, weakest ally gains 20% turn meter light side out, which is a pretty decent one.
The
The
15% offense and 20% speed stacking can sometimes be nice,
Yeah,
depending.
yeah. So again, they're there. We know that there are folks that'll probably start turning over stores, and I'm past those days these days. But yeah, we'll see. You know, I love the focus datacron character. The question is always, are we going to use those focus crons, the characters?
I
So
have, yeah, I mean, I have found with this, like I'm not going to use Trench. I have him at R5. I
yeah,
don't have the team built up strongly with mods or anything. I found with this set, with almost all of them except for Wampa, I have just been throwing them on other characters and other teams. And my last GAC, I stonewalled every one of my opponents. The amount of defense at the top of K2, I have never seen happen before because the stats were so disgustingly high on these focus datacrons that things that I would never have thought were getting holds were getting holds. I have one battle where my bottom wall had like Gungans have 6 defends, right? And Quad May has
yeah,
4 defends. And I'm like, that shouldn't happen at the top of K2 against an account that's higher than mine and has more datacrons than me. But it's supercharged teams, and I do hope it is tuned down a little bit because it's I don't know, it just got really silly this last season, and maybe it was just DS Raycron that really exacerbated that. But
yeah.
I hope so. I hope it's a little bit less.
It it has been so long since I've taken an honest look at GAC that when I looked at what I thought was my opponent's defense today, going, where is this player getting? Like, how is he doing this at 12 million? Like that's how I had the back. It's been so long. So
Can I tell
um,
you as a
yeah,
quick aside before we finish up? I have somebody who I've been working with privately. who has asked me to help them with their GACs, and I don't know why they asked me to help with them with their GACs,
Yeah.
because I do not take my GACs seriously. I either am on my phone watching 90 Day Fiance playing GAC, or I'm drunk on stream saying, let's just YOLO this, who cares? Um, but I have actually been having so much fun not doing, he does his own GACs, but helping him
Yeah.
plan his defense and his attacks,
Yeah.
because he is someone that has 2 GLs, and he's at the top of Chromium going against accounts that have 5 or 6 GLs. And it's such a different vibe when you're going, okay, now we have to actually strategize. We have to
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
figure out, because like at our level, everyone has everything. It's okay. The defense is the same. This is the same. We're going to use this thing against that thing. But at his level, I'm having hour-long discussions going, okay, here's what we're going to do. This guy's defense, it sucks every week. We're going to play this. We're going to YOLO it. We're going to have a shitty defense, and we're going to just banner him. And we know he's going to clear us, but it doesn't matter. It has been so much fun doing that at the lower end with somebody, because you actually have to think. So I've been enjoying that.
My best period in GAC was similar but different. There was someone in our guild that took a look at my defense. Actually, I think we matched up and he beat me, and he messaged me and said, "There's no reason you all should be as bad at GAC as you." And he's like, "I'm going to set your defense," and it became this thing like at the start of every season, he would, "This is the defense you're going to run. This is how you're going to counter everything. Me after, and we'll go." And he loved it because I get to see how successful something tools, and it was super successful for like a good 6 months. And then it turned out that he was cheating to boot him out of the PK, stuff, and we had to kick him out of the guild. GAC ranking just tanked through the whole. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it just shows you can have all the fun toys and just be bad.
Some people.
Yeah.
You ruin the game for everybody else, which
Yes, I do.
sucks. And not you, the other guy. You ruin the game for you ruined the game for everybody else. Thankfully, I do enough of my streams on Twitch and YouTube that people can see that there's no possible way that I am cheating, because I lose some really, really, really easy matchups, and I go, well, that shouldn't have worked that way.
Yeah.
I think, are we good for today?
I think we're good.
Yeah.
We hit that target date. I still might get 5 hours of sleep tonight before I have that 6:30 a.m. flight that I need to catch. So this is going to work.
That's beautiful, and it's not even the longest. I really thought today was going to be the longest episode.
Yeah.
If we push it a couple more minutes, it will be. So we will try to end it here. Again, with the school year and PICO and everything, we are trying to keep this at roughly 2 weeks, and we've been good at keeping the Wednesdays. But you may see some iffiness, and don't come complaining to me on Discord, because I do care. I care too much, and it makes me feel bad. So please, guys, don't make me feel bad. But I think we are good for the week, and hopefully we will catch back up in 2 weeks and continue on. So, Mr. Pirate King Pico Burrito, I will leave you with that last word.
I don't. I should probably come up with a GL Pico catchphrase right now. I guess that's what I'll have to start working on. I will say, if you feel a strange presence in the tri-state area tomorrow, that's me lost in Manhattan. So yeah, that's what I'll leave it at.
Here we go.
If anyone sees me wandering around Central Park, stop me and say hello and buy me a cup of coffee.
You heard it here first. Pico is going to be in Manhattan, and get him some coffee. This has been Zeta Protocol. Peace out, guys.